Barbara. It is not lovely out there, but I'm going out anyway. Good morning, it's Barbara. I just came out real quick. It's possible that these clouds will burn off, but it's not gorgeous out here, I can tell you that. But we had a very nice day yesterday. Manny and his son and the kid he had working for him did a beautiful job, so our front looks really nice. I have forsythia now. One of my main goals, of course, I was talking to him in I think it was like early April. And, one of my main goals was I wanted an early spring beautiful yard. I wanted, anyway. So he planted forsythia along just before in front of the woods on the one side. So I will have forsythia in the springtime. Cleared out between the driveways. That's been a wild mess for 20 years. And is going to plant me some spring bulbs, tulips and daffodils. So that will be in, and he's going to put some bushes, and he's talking about azaleas. So I think it's going to be pretty lovely come next spring. I'm very excited. And they weeded and mulched, so all that stuff I was going to do. The thing is, if you sit around and talk about it for a couple of weeks, Manny will come, and then you don't have to do it. I will need to water today in the front around the lamppost. And I guess I'll water my new forsythias, why not? And my little tiny evergreen is not doing well. I'll water that. I watered the deck here yesterday because I sprayed it, and it's better. It's not clear, but it's a lot better. And I watered the plants while I was at it. So they got watered yesterday, but I might just get that hose out and try to do a little more. I think it's like a layer process. One layer of junk and then another layer of junk. And I also cleaned up a little bit. We just have things sitting around. And I'm like, can I throw this away? And the answer was yes a couple times, which was really nice. So, and I washed the table, and we sat out here a lot yesterday. All afternoon we had our wine and cheese out here. We had our dinner out here, our dessert. So we were out here for a long time. Not all of us. Pat and I were out here a long time, and everybody else was out here quite a while, but not as long as us. Yeah, so they are, as I have told you before, some of the loveliest people you'll ever meet. And we had a good visit yesterday. Dennis, unfortunately, wrenched his knee, so he can barely stand on his one leg. So I ended up putting dinner together. Luckily, yesterday's dinner was more of an assembly job than anything. So I was able to do it without any trouble, and he didn't have to be on his leg very much. Today is supposed to be a cooking day, so I don't know how that's going to work out. I might end up making Portuguese pork or goulash. Those are the two things that are on the menu for the next couple days, so we'll see what happens. He asked me to bring his knee brace up with his tea this morning, so that didn't bode well. We had thought it'll be better today. It seems like it may not be. I will do what I need to do, because I know how it is with a bad knee. And he took care of me when I had my bad knee. So I will do what needs to be done. I can make Portuguese pork. We got that recipe from my father. My father took over the cooking at one point when my mother was working, and he was I guess running the winery, but it was only open on the weekends. So he was working in the winery and cooking while she was working. So this was quite some time ago. 35 years ago? 30 years ago? Anyway, he started cooking at some point quite some time ago. And he got some cookbooks, and I don't remember what cookbook this was out of, but he would only make the things in the cookbook that had a picture. And one of the things he made was Portuguese pork. But he liked to make it with chicken because it was more tender than the pork he was cooking. But Dennis sous vides the pork. Oh, maybe not. Maybe he uses pork tenderloin instead of whatever Daddy was using. Anyway, Dennis really likes Portuguese pork. I like it. Dennis really likes it, and so does Pat. But if my dad, the point of that whole thing was if my dad can make Portuguese pork, so can I. I can make Portuguese pork. So I just may be doing that. I might just make a copy of that recipe for Pat, and she and I can make it. Dennis can sit. But that's a real bummer. He's really bummed about his knee. So, dogs didn't get a walk yesterday. I can't walk the dogs myself. And he can't walk the dogs with them knee. So, it's time for us to make arrangements to have a dog walker for contingencies like this, because this is not good. Now, we can exercise the dogs, you know. All we need is Pearl to throw the frisbee in the yard, and everybody's running, and it's fine. The walks are more for the routine of it, for the, you know, the sensations, you know, and for me and Dennis. The dogs get exercise without the walk. The walk is not. Our walks aren't that long. They're just for, you know, sniffs and interactions. So it's not the end of the world if they don't get their walk. They still get their exercise. But it's a sad indication of how bad his knee is. So, yeah. Meanwhile, yeah. So I worked hard yesterday getting, you know, putting out the food and doing the dishes. Pat helped clear a table and stuff, but because Dennis is a little bit out of commission, so I'll see how today works out. I'll tell you how my Portuguese pork turned out. Yeah. It's actually been quite a while since I made meals for a company. You can imagine. But it will be fine. We don't have actually anything planned. The reason they're here this weekend is because of this class reunion in Hummelstown, which is a little town they grew up in outside of Hershey, Pennsylvania. But neither Ora nor Russ want to go, so we'll be hanging out at home. We, like I said, were on the deck almost all day yesterday. I don't think we're going to be doing that today unless things clear up, although some of this cloud may be burning off, and if it does that and it gets a little breezy, it's going to be comfortable out here, so we shall see. Yeah, I feel bad. I just snuck into Aura's room to put her pills on her windowsill because her routine is messed up because her sitting room is the guest room, and so Russ and Pat are here and they bring their cat. So Mango is in that room. So I'm expecting once she gets up and gets organized, she's just going to probably come downstairs. Normally she would sit in her sitting room and watch some TV or whatever she wanted to do. So I snuck in there to put her pills out for her morning pills, and startled her awake, and I felt really bad. She said, "Oh, I didn't hear you come in." I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, my dear. I was trying to be quiet." We're not very quiet when we're quiet in this house. So, Yeah. So I can't be out here very long. We have a gate in front in the steps to keep the dogs from going up, but that also keeps anybody who wants to come down from coming down. So I need to be in there to manage the gate and the dogs. So I'm going to say goodbye. Keep your fingers crossed that Dennis's knee feels better today and I don't have to cook. Oh, that sounded terrible. Let's hope his knee feels better so that because we want his knee to feel better. What a thing to say. I'll cook. I can cook. I'm a good cook. Did you hear our rooster? A couple of pieces of property down from us has a real menagerie. Oh, excuse me. Real menagerie, including a rooster, so every once in a while we hear it. But not loud enough to wake us up or anything. Just loud enough to make us feel like we're in the country. All right, I'm going. But I know you're sending healing thoughts to Dennis's knee. He was very unhappy. Very unhappy. And I understand that. That's how I was with my knee. I was very unhappy too. All right, I'm going. Please take good care of yourselves. Please, please stay safe and stay safe.